Are you a movie buff? Do you love dissecting and analyzing your favorite films? Look no further than the Projection Booth podcast. Join host Mike White and a bevy of guest experts as they explore the history, themes, and legacy of cult classics, obscure gems, and mainstream hits. Join us every week for a unique and engaging look at your favorite movies. So sit back, grab some popcorn, and tune in to the Projection Booth podcast, available on all major podcast platforms.
Hello, filthy movie lovers. My name is Gentry Austin.
And I'm Casey Scott.
And we're the hosts of the Sin Syndicate, film podcast for something weirdos, anti-criterion bros, and Joseph Sarno aficionados. Join us semi-weekly as we peer into the adults-only theaters and sticky-floored cinemas of the golden age of sexploitation, when the morals were loose, the laws were murky, and the intercourse was all simulated. Find us now on the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Hello, creeps. It's me, John Kassir, the voice of the Crypt Keeper, and you're listening to Chronicles from the Crypt.
Hello there, I'm Casualty Chris.
And this is Father Malone.
And we are the hosts of Chronicles from the Crypt, a twice-a-month look at the cult horror classic Tales from the Crypt that originally aired on HBO from 1989 to 1996.
Now, on each podcast, we're going to be taking a look at 2 episodes of the HBO television series based on the 1950s EC comics. And along the way, we're going to do some bonus episodes about some other tangentially related Tales materials, as well as some other spin-off series and a children's show at some point.
And a game show at one point.
And a game show.
Because that's a thing that needs to be uttered in the same sentence as Tales from the Crypt. If you didn't get a chance to check out our last episode, we actually did our first bonus episode where we talked about 1972's Amicus production of Tales from the Crypt. Really good. Almost better than some of the first season episodes, which shouldn't be surprising.
It still is, however. It's definitely better than maybe some of the episodes we've been watching recently.
Oof, boy, isn't that the truth. We're going to kick right off with Season 2's Episode 1 and 2. We'll let the Crypt Keeper do the intro, and we'll talk about the episode when we get back.
I look into the future, my darlings, and for you I see something grotesque. It will sicken and disgust you. It's me! Tonight's tale is a sickening stab at suspense about a gold digger who wanted big bucks to buy baubles and bangles. Look out, Cathy. I see you just might buy the big one.
Right, the first episode we're going to be talking about is Episode 1 of Season 2. That episode is Dead Right. It aired April 21st, 1990. It's directed by Howard Deutsch, who you might recognize that name because he directed Only Sin Deep last season. This episode was written by Andy Wolk. It stars Demi Moore, Jeffrey Tambor, and Natalja Nogalich. I'm sure I butchered that. Sorry. And the episode centers around Demi Moore as a gold digger who visits a medium and finds out she will meet a man who will inherit a lot of money and die in a violent way. And then she meets that Jeffrey Tambor, a fat piece of shit who ends up going on a twisted marriage murder journey together. And boy, it is a bad episode. Just bury the lead right there. Bury the lead. It is a god-awful episode.
I don't know that it's that bad. There's a lot that I really liked about it, but it's certainly not one of the better ones. I think
it definitely could have been improved by when we spoke about Only Sin Deep. I think this episode definitely could have been improved by having someone else play Demi Moore's character.
Yeah, we talked about swapping the Only Sin Deep actresses and having Leah Thompson here and Demi Moore there. I do think Demi Moore would have been better in Only Sin Deep, but I don't know that Leah Thompson would have delivered in this episode either. I actually think Demi Moore is really good in this episode. It's interesting to see another piece directed by Howard Deutsch so soon. When we talked about Only Sin Deep, I think most people only know him from his John Hughes movies. He did Pretty in Pink, and he did Some Kind of Wonderful, which in my opinion, those are the best John Hughes movies. And I actually think he's a really good director and rather underrated. And I think he does a really good job here. This is a period piece, we should point out. This takes place in the 1950s. I think it's 1955 or something. I guess they got a little money this season that they were able to suddenly start getting costumes and sets and period correct cars. Overall, it's not that great an episode because it is so obvious from the get-go what's going to be happening here. What do you think of the makeup on Jeffrey Tambor?
Aside from the fact that it's Jeffrey Tambor, who apparently is a massive ass clown, and I don't know, he may not work in Hollywood again anytime soon. If the guy who created Arrested Development has any say, he probably will, but I think outside of the fact that it's Jeffrey Tambor, the makeup's okay. It's disgusting, and that's the point.
Yeah, and, it is. It's weird, because I think the makeup job is actually really good. It's just, we talked about this when we talked about Mary Lambert's episode. Lighting is so goddamn important, particularly when you're going to slather your lead character under so much latex. So this is 1990 we're talking about, and for a half-hour episode of a TV series, I think it's actually really good. In some shots, it looks fantastic. They turned Jeffrey Tambor into a rather corpulent individual, and he's supposed to be disgusting, and that sort of comes across. So I actually liked the makeup in it. I do think it was underlit in places. Look, I don't think it's a great episode overall, but as I said, it does look really good, and it does look sort of period specific, and I think everyone looks good in it. The one thing I noticed straight away is that it's set in the 50s, but they clearly... The composer decided to do everything on a synthesizer. So it sounds like a mid-'80s, cheapy, Cinemax movie, which was driving me crazy from the opening frame. It's just not good.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like you mentioned, it seems to me that they really upped the budget of the show. And in doing so, we're able to secure some more sets, more, like you said, period cars. And then they kind of go and squander it with a really weird score that doesn't make any sense.
How about, get a saxophone player in here or something, or just a guitarist, something, anything. Anything than the sort of wonky sound of one guy is shivering in a room playing a synthesizer. It sounded crazy, given how good the visuals were in this particular one.
And that's the big takeaway from this episode is it is a better episode than Only Sin Deep, the last episode that Howard Deutsch directed, but it feels very similar. Again, it's in that same... There's a vein, right? And there's a vein of these style of episodes, and this episode is in that vein of episodes. And that's not a bad thing, but these style of episodes aren't the ones that get me excited to watch Tales from the Crypt. These are the twist-heavy episodes. There's a twist, and the whole episode is predicated on not knowing the twist. And then when you know the twist and you watch it again, it's not nearly as successful, it's not nearly as much fun to watch, and everything just feels like it's building to a twist that isn't that great to begin.
It doesn't only not bear up to repeat viewings. Watching it the first time, it's so clear that she's receiving a fortune that's clearly aimed at her. She's the one who's going to be murdered. He's going to get the money. It's the fortune is worded in such a way that it's vague enough that you can make that interpretation almost instantly. And the fact that this character falls for it, and then we're just watching her fall for it for the next 20 minutes and putting up with this guy and doing his laundry and cooking his meals, and it's not great.
Well, and again, I come back to this episode it's, again, like you've mentioned, it's so... everything about this episode is about the twist and building to the twist, and it's not that good of a twist, right? I mean, it's okay. It's Natalija Nogalic is probably my favorite part of this episode.
Oh, she's great.
She plays the medium / gypsy / fortune teller character perfectly. They've ripped off similar characters in The Simpsons. This is like a stereotype, and she plays into it so perfectly. And
yeah, it doesn't feel exploitative at all. It feels like she feels like she's living in that character and breathing life into what is a tired and stereotypical trope at this point. But she does manage to elevate it, which is nice. And she's playful in ways that the episode is not otherwise. And this one kind of cries out for a playfulness because it's so kind of heavy.
Because Demi Moore's character is such an ass.
Mm-hmm.
And Jeffrey Tambor's character is just... It's a little much, right? I mean, it's so over the top in a way that it doesn't even... It's not funny even, and that's kind of like you said, that's kind of what this episode is missing, is some humor or something, because it's like he's just fat and he's just fat and he's gross. There's not a whole lot of depth or interesting character development to that, and we've seen them do character development. I mean, go back to the first episode of the show. Character development all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, they're both reprehensible characters, so it's not like we're rooting for anybody in this case. I guess we're rooting for Madame Vorka, the fortune teller, who is kind of delighting in sending these people on this path. But the sequence that I did find amusing and was a bit of levity, which is weird to say, is when Demi Moore's character is imagining all the ways he's going to die, where he's in the street being run over and over again. I thought that was actually pretty spectacular. That's
probably the best part of this entire episode.
Yeah, which is an odd thing to cop to.
Right, and again, other than that, there's not much. It's so, again, you can kind of see the twist coming from a mile away, and it's disappointing.
Yeah, given that this is the second season, and now they've sort of had some success with the first season, they know where they can go. And now I'm sure you read the comic as well.
Right, I did.
Yeah, which it's almost word for word. It's just the same thing. Like, it kind of baffles me by this point that they're not allowing their writers to stretch out and take it in different directions. Like, I don't know. Again, it's, this isn't high literature. This is a comic that was aimed at children effectively back in the day. So, for a 12-year-old to read this comic, then that twist might have been spectacular, but this is not a show for 12-year-olds, although, everyone was pretty young when they were watching it. It seems to lack, a lot of these episodes seem to lack any innovation, and that's kind of a drag. I think in this case, maybe Howard Deutsch read the script and was just like, can we just make this a period piece so I can at least have some fun, with the neat 50s hairdos and settings. That's the only way I can see him justifying doing it.
Well, and again, the reason I said that this episode is horrible is because this is the lead-off episode for season 2. This is the intro episode for the second season of the show. Compare it to the lead-off pilot, effectively, for the show, and it's like night and day.
It's odd overall.
Right. Why this episode? Of all the episodes, why this one? This is how you want to open the season, is with this kind of wet fart? I mean, it's just kind of a dud.
Yeah, it's especially galling considering by episode 3 we have Walter Hill return. I mean, we're going to talk about it when we get to it, but it is a massively entertaining episode that also should have... maybe they just figured that the audience was with them at this point and they're going to give them what they expect or they believe they're craving, which is the sort of the kind of twisty episode. Who knows?
Well, and that's the crazy thing is, again, this season has some of the best episodes of the show.
Absolutely.
And this is what they wanted to lead off with. Instead of leading off with, the Lance Henriksen Walter Hill episode with cutting cards, Three's a Crowd, which is a much better version of this style of episode, even the Ventriloquist Dummy, which is a super kind of over-the-top episode, or one of my favorite episodes, Television Terror, which is right towards the end of the season, but no, we lead off with this really middle-of-the-road episode. I guess maybe back in the 90s, not maybe, back in the 90s, Demi Moore was the hot ticket, so maybe the idea was clearly to ride the success of Demi Moore.
Yeah, I think so. Considering the next episode, which, has a bit of star wattage because of who's behind the camera, At least in this case, you can show promos with Demi Moore, who was very popular around this time, 1990. That, might as well lead with a pretty girl, right?
Yeah. Well, I think that's clearly what they went for. So I'm going to say skip this one.
I'm going to agree with you. It isn't, I don't think it's as bad as some of the other episodes I've told you to skip, but definitely not. I wouldn't tell you to leave. If you were going to watch season 2 for the first time, I would say maybe you jump ahead a little. Get back to this one.
Yeah, jump ahead a lot. 2 episodes. 2 episodes. So, speaking of the next episode, we'll let the Crypt Keeper introduce it, and we'll talk about it when we get back.
Welcome, horror hooligans. This is your Shiver Chef. It's disgusting what people will do to stay young.
What's the matter with you? You want to keep that 90-pound corpse for the rest of your death? Keep pumping. Now I tell the story. Tonight's story is about an old man who finds a new wrinkle in the fountain of youth. A twisted tale that we call The Switch.
Alright, so the second episode of Season 2 is aptly titled The Switch. It aired the same evening as Dead Right, April 21st, 1990. That would be one day before I was born.
Me too.
Things. Right, well, the actual year, though.
The actual, there you go. Yeah, all right.
Day and year. That's funny coincidence. Mike and I share the exact same birthday. So
Bizarre.
Synchronicity.
Indeed. Well, that's actually sobering to think about, that I was watching these episodes the day before you were born.
Right, cosmic synchronicity. Like you mentioned, it is directed by none other than everyone's favorite governator, God, I don't even understand why. Mr. Arnold Schwarzenegger directed this episode. It's written by Michael Tav and Richard Tuggle, and it stars William Hickey, Rick Rossovich, and Kelly Preston. William Hickey plays a wealthy, God damn it, a wealthy older man who subjects himself to a revolutionary new treatment to please his gold digger girlfriend.
Yep.
This is an interest. I think it's better than the first episode.
Do you? Oh, I disagree. This is one of the worst episodes of Tales from the Crypt of all time.
I disagree. I think William Hickey's performance saves it.
I love William Hickey. He elevates everything he's in. Nevertheless, he cannot save this episode. It is so poor, from the direction to the writing to the special effects. The
special effects are hilariously bad.
Oh my god. I found very little to enjoy in this particular episode.
Well, it also doesn't help that they couldn't sync up William Hickey's voice with Rick Rossovich's mouth.
Yeah. It's weird because, Rick Rossovich, for a time, he was kind of popular. I think the connection here is that he was in the original Terminator movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger. So clearly Schwarzenegger had a good time with him on that flick and cast him here. I don't know where the Kelly Preston connection comes in, but boy, she's terrible. William Hickey is like the sole salvation in this particular story. He's fantastic. He's always been fantastic. If you want to see him in a better anthology thing, watch the Tales from the Dark Side movie, where he plays an old man attempting to kill a cat, which is great. But this episode, I don't even know where to begin with how much I don't like it. From again, the score here is sort of overly treacly and earnest. The guy who plays William Hickey's servant, his butler, his major domo, he would eventually, I think, gain a bit of popularity as a character on Seinfeld, where he was actually quite funny. But here I don't know, he does not get the tone at all. Putting aside the premise, okay. Now we said
You're gonna forget that Ian Abercrombie was in Army of Darkness, really?
Maybe, and I also forget his name. Yeah, that's the thing. He can be really good, and he's certainly good there, but he's in no way good here. So William Hickey's character, he's in love with Kelly Preston, but he wants to make sure that she's in love with him and not his money because he's a millionaire. So he pretends to be a pauper, and she basically says, no, I can't be in love with you. You're an old man. So he goes to have an experimentation done where he effectively gets another guy's head, a younger man played by Rick Rossovich, which he does. He gets a head transplant, and then she's like, yeah, but your body is still old and wrinkly. So he then has the torso changed, and then she's like, yeah, but your legs, and then he gets the legs done. Okay, putting aside the science, I'm happy to put aside the science. This is a Tales from the Crypt episode, but it's so, I don't know, man. All the characters are so dumb. And at least, her character is pretty upfront. Like, she clearly doesn't want to be with this guy. And then we've got another twist here that she actually did just want the money, and that would have been good enough for him. I don't know, man. You seem to like it more than me. Why don't you sing its praises?
Well, I didn't say it was amazing, but I said that it was better than the first episode of the season. Which, is,
world's tallest midget.
Right, not saying much, unfortunately, for the episode. It's stupid. It's stupid fun in a way. Roy Brocksmith is great as like a Dr. Frankenstein-esque character, so that kind of salvages it. I don't know. Maybe I just think it's funny to see William Hickey in Tales from the Crypt and essentially being sidelined and given almost nothing to do. It's just he's essentially sidelined from the get-go and given nothing to do. It's his voice. It might as well have just been ADR William Hickey, because that's all this episode amounts to.
True, but there is one sequence where, it's when he's gotten the first transplant done, where they've de-aged him kind of. They've actually, it is William Hickey under like a pound of latex, where they've tried to make him look younger, and the idea is that his face hasn't settled down, it hasn't, like, the swelling hasn't gone down. That to me was great. My girl Jess actually pointed this out. Like, it's so you watch movies and TV shows where they age characters, where they'll take a younger actor and then put old age makeup on them. It's very rare that they will take an older actor and try and make them look younger. And I don't mean just like pulling their skin back or de-aging them with CG. This is like a complete kind of head mask that he's wearing to make him look young. I thought that was an interesting, fun part of the episode, but that was pretty much it for me.
Yeah, I gotta wonder how high they were when they came up with that one. It's just William Hickey with like a smoothed out face.
Mm-hmm.
And it is upsetting. You know what he looks like? He looks kind of like Max Headroom.
Yeah, a little bit.
Right? Just, it's like his face is like too smooth and like perfect.
Yeah, but I really like that part.
No, it is. I mean, every time I see it, I'm always kind of taken aback because it's so bizarre. It's bizarre and upsetting, but also really funny at the same time. Like, I can't help but laugh because it's such a weird direction to go.
It does boil down to the fact that they knew that he was just going to be doing ADR for like the back half of the episode, so they wanted to use the actual actor as much as they could. And God bless William Hickey for clearly submitting to having his entire head cast and then all this makeup sort of put on him. That's a really good part of the episode.
Guy's a consummate professional.
Yeah, the Roy Brocksmith character, which I do like. I like how lunatic he is with his experimentation. However, the setting is effectively just a mad scientist lab out of a 1940s movie. It is so bonkers that they would do that. It doesn't add anything to it. It all looks like a set.
It's like the soundtrack in Dead Right, and in this episode, it's like the tones don't match. It makes no sense.
No, not at all. I will point out one thing, that this is officially the first episode of the television series Tales from the Crypt that is based on a Tales from the Crypt comic. Everything else has been based on Haunt of Fear or Vault of Horror, or even The Witch's Cauldron. So kudos for them to finally find an episode, or rather a story from Tales from the Crypt that they felt was worthy of adapting. Unfortunately, it is one of my least favorite episodes of the series.
I think we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about Schwarzenegger.
Shall we?
I mean, I don't think he's terrible. I don't think his direction is terrible.
I kind of do.
I mean, is it any worse than Mary Lambert?
No, in many ways it's a step up from Mary Lambert. However,
which is disappointing in a way. In a lot of ways.
A lot of ways that this bodybuilder turned semi-actor action star somehow knows his way behind the camera more than somebody who's committed their life to it.
Man, I don't think I like Schwarzenegger very much.
Who?
You.
No, I love Arnold Schwarzenegger. I love when he's doing his thing. I think the 80s, I loved all those sort of stock characters he was doing. The Terminator obviously is his best performance because he doesn't have to really say all that much.
Hercules in New York is his best performance.
No, it is a very good performance because he's not speaking.
Because it's all ADR.
Yeah, it's all ADR. No, look, that guy is charming as hell. There's sort of no question about it. Like, you watch him in anything, and I mean, look, go back and watch Pumping Iron. He is phenomenal in that, just being himself.
Well, go watch the intro to this episode. I mean, there's a reason he's in the intro to the episode.
He's a magnetic personality. There's no question about that.
There's few times that I don't remember. This is one of the only ones that sticks out to me is when they had someone on screen opposite the Crypt Keeper.
It's certainly the first time they did it. I can't remember too many times other than, they had a mummy show up at one point, played by Bill Sadler.
I'm hold on. I'm talking about actors not in makeup.
Oh, okay. Like an actual human being showing up and suddenly like, hey, it's me, your old pal Arnold Schwarzenegger. We want to pump you up.
And he kills him at the end of the bookend.
Right. You can't go wrong there. Clearly, Schwarzenegger had a working relationship with Joel Silver, who produced Commando, and I think a couple of his other movies. Joel Silver was the action king of the 1980s. He produced the Die Hard movies. So, that's how he got involved. No question about it. And there is a lot to like about it. I do think that sequence that I was talking about where they're actually doing the transplant, where it's supposed to be they've gone ahead and made it look like a mad scientist lab. However, the direction and editing in that scene are so lackluster. It's just like they just keep showing these sort of dialysis machines spinning over and over again. Like they keep cutting back to that. I thought there's just no forethought to it. I can only imagine him directing and just like, oh, shoot that thing that's spinning. Now cut back to that. Like over and over again. Like, I don't know. It's an okay episode. The twist is boring. The performances other than William Hickey are off the chart poor, including Rick Rossovich, who can't even seem to mime dialogue that William Hickey's speaking off screen. Well, I don't know. I do not like this episode.
Yeah, it's not a good episode, but I think it's a fun episode. And I don't know, sitting here talking about it, I mean, I'm not going to watch it again anytime soon. So maybe that's the overall bar and kind of measuring stick, right? I'd go back and watch The Man Who Was Death anytime. But this episode, not so much.
I remember from watching it 28 years ago when I watched it the first time. I just remember the shot where he has now the torso and the head, but he hasn't gotten the legs yet, and they're at the beach, and he's behind a cabana's batwing doors, and they clearly have the spindly legs and the upper torso, and they kind of pan up to it. And I just remember even at the time as a 17-year-old thinking like, wow, that is cheap.
and it is cheap, and that's, again, I think that's one of the bigger problems with this episode, is that it's like they took all these weird shortcuts that they didn't have to.
Lackluster in almost every way.
I guess they blew their budget on Dead Right. That's what it is.
Yeah, but they needed to make up their money somehow with this one, so let's keep it cheap and simple.
And hey, don't forget, Mark Pellegrino is in this episode as well, who plays the devil on Supernatural. He's one of the thugs at the end of the episode.
That's true. Yeah, Mark Pellegrino. Yeah, he is. He's Lucifer on Supernatural. He was one of the two thugs at the beginning of Big Lebowski, the rug pissers, and he was Jacob on Lost. He's a really good actor. Like it's interesting to always see a new talent in even as brief as it was.
He was also on Dexter.
He was. Yeah, he was Rita's ex-husband or ex-con ex-husband.
Yes. That's what I always remember him from. And I don't watch Supernatural anymore, but apparently he's back on the show.
Evidently, I don't know. I watched that show pretty hardcore for a while. I liked it when it was a Monster of the Week type show, and then once it became all angelic, I kind of checked out.
Well, hey man, you know what they say, if you can make 15 seasons of a show, I mean, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Hey man, God bless them. I love all of those people.
Misha Collins, Jared Padalecki, and Jensen Ackles, they never have to work again, and to be honest, having seen them in the other stuff they've been in, I don't think they should.
Well, I will probably agree with you about Jared Padalecki, but what's his name? Jensen Ackles, I think is a charming fellow. I think he could be in other things. He was in that remake of My Bloody Valentine. I thought he was actually really good in that.
You didn't like Jared Padalecki in the Friday the 13th reboot?
I like that movie, and he's okay in it. Like, he carries it as well as anyone could have, I suppose, but it wasn't like he was so magnetic that I could not stop watching.
It's not like when he was in that House of Wax movie, and he's, just dies.
Yeah, he's okay. I mean... What can I say?
That show plays to their strengths. Let's put it that way.
Absolutely. The writers on that show figured out who those guys were and definitely catered to them.
Yeah. Well, back to Tales from the Crypt. I'm assuming you'd say skip this episode.
I skip it hard, man. This isn't even a someday when you have nothing better to do, watch the episode. I'm saying don't watch this episode.
That's a definitive skip right there. Well, for me, it's a soft watch. It's not great, but it's kind of stupid fun, and you get to see... maybe just watch the bookends, because you get Arnold Schwarzenegger with the Crypt Keeper, and then at the end he kills him, so...
Yeah, there you go.
That's kind of goofy. Next episode, we're going to be talking about Season 2, Episode 3 and 4, Cutting Cards, one of the best episodes of the show. Walter Hill's return to form. You got Lance Henriksen, who is always fantastic. We'll have an interview with Lance Henriksen next episode, and we're also going to be talking about Till Death. I would say an underrated episode. That episode's a lot of fun.
I like that episode, too.
It's a lot of fun. It's definitely a stylistic change from the last 3 episodes. Which is good.
Bring on the supernatural, I say.
Yes, because the first 3 episodes of Season 2 are not supernatural at all. So I am right there with you. Outside of Chronicles from the Crypt, where can people find you, Father?
They can always find me on YouTube. I have a show called You've Never Seen. The channel is called Odd 5 Films. You can also hear me once a month extolling the virtues of the revival of The Twilight Zone. That podcast is called Dreams for Sale, and I share that stage with a couple of kooky fellows.
Myself. And our good friend Mike White, who, due to some timing switcheroos, was not able to join us on this episode. He may have dodged a bullet. I would say he probably did dodge a bullet. However, he will be joining us next week. And I think he'll probably enjoy the fact that he's watching 2 good episodes more than these 2 episodes.
Although we made him watch these episodes, so I'm sorry, Mike.
Sorry. You can follow me on Twitter at Culture Stash. Like what Mike said, Dreams for Sale is great. You can check out the Culture Cast. That's my movie podcast, culturecast.com for that one. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at Chronicles TFC. Check out the website over at chroniclesfromthecrypt.com and leave us a favorable review on iTunes so other people find the show. And make sure to check out the next episode.